All right. Happy Monday. It is April 19th or whatever time you're listening to this. Maybe it's a month from now. But today is our Monday mindset. And I forget this, I think, is our third Monday mindset when I decided to start doing these. I figured, you know what? Monday would probably be a good day to inject a little bit of energy, a little bit of motivation, inspiration, and just start working on this thing up here because this thing is a huge driver in our success in business and in life. And a lot of times it holds us back. So we need to be able to really identify what's holding us back, but then kind of face it, head on. And that's what we're going to do here today. So today's Monday mindset is going to be all about fear and really how to face that fear, embrace that fear, but how to use it as a tool. And what I mean by that is how do we use fear to actually push us towards success? And how do we do it without being so afraid? Because a lot of times, fear is about being afraid of what could happen or the what ifs and all of that. So today, what I want to talk about is that fear. How to use fear to help us. Okay, and not hurt us. And I do also want to kind of throw this out here, depending on if you're listening to this live or if you're here on a replay or whatever. Let me know in the comments, has fear ever crept in and held you back? I'd like to know. I'd be curious for you to give me a little feedback on that. I'm going to share with you 3 different examples of this, 2 of them that were mine, one of them which was somewhat recent, someone in my family that was able to overcome this, and it actually worked out really, really well. So that's what we're going to be doing here. All right, so I am going to keep this little intro here, just as people are coming on, whatever. I'm going to keep this short, and then we're going to get right into the Monday mindset. We're going to keep it between 10 and 15 minutes tops, and then from there, we're going to get on with our day. All right, so let's see who's hanging out with us here today. The Scooby Life, what's up? Awesome. Glad to have you. Salama, what's up? Happy Monday. Karen, as usual, what's up? Happy Monday. Looking forward to the week. Yes, me too. Noel, what's up? Good morning to you. And Karen says, absolutely has felt fear. And yeah, it's probably never going to go away. We just need to know how to recognize it and then how to use it to our advantage. I feel like I've learned a lot from you. Oh, cool. That's always good to hear. So Karen, thank you for that. All right, so let's just get right into it. Now, if you are watching this here, Take Action Effect, I actually have a whole part of this book. Actually, part 1 is all about your, basically about creating a mindset for success, okay, or for action. And the first part of that, or the first chapter, is breaking the chains. And then the second one is retrain your mind for success. And I'm going to read a little bit out of here, not much. If you've already read this, you might want to go back and get into this part of the book or this chapter of the book. And it's really about the mindset block fear and how we can use it to our advantage. So that's Take Action Effect. If you guys did not grab a copy, I will go ahead and give a little shameless plug here, the takeactioneffect.com, takeactioneffect.com. You can grab the whatever copy you want. It could be a hardcover, it could be soft cover, it could be digital, audiobook. It's all available. All right. All right. So with that all being said, let's officially kick this off. All right, here we go. All right, so today for our Monday mindset, we're going to be talking about using fear to reach success. I'm going to give you one simple tip so you can take this, think about it, and then do it. And anytime that fear creeps into your life, and I don't care if it's about business or if it's about something you're thinking about doing, but you're just unsure, and you start kind of going down the road of the what ifs, what if this happens? And what if that happens? We've all done it. We still do it. I do it to this day. But when you are able to look at this a little bit differently, it helps. And the thing is when you can recognize that it's fear creeping in and you want to start identifying why the fear is creeping in And then what can we do to move past it or move through it? All right. And that's the big one. I'm going to share with you 3 different examples of this. All right. And pretty much all of these were in my life, but one of them is more recent, and it wasn't with me in particular. It was actually with my 13-year-old daughter. So we're going to talk about that. But what I want you to really take away from this Monday mindset, all right? Now, if you're listening to this on a Wednesday, a Thursday, doesn't matter. This applies to every single day. I'm just, doing this on a Monday. So if you're listening to this on the podcast, or if you're here live on the Coffee Talks, this is our Monday mindset. These are going to be short and sweet, but they're going to be something that will help you right now move forward, or at least start thinking about when this, kind of creeps into your life. And we want to just kick off our week on a high note, right? We want to inject a little bit of energy, a little motivation, a little inspiration. If you want to attend one of our Coffee Talks and basically do this live, head on over to takeactioncrew.com. Again, that's takeactioncrew.com. All right, so let's talk about this. I actually wrote a little bit about this exact thing that I'm talking about here. Now I'm holding my book, The Take Action Effect. And inside here, I just want to read this part real quick. Okay. If you guys have the book, you probably already read this, or you heard me talk about it in the audio book, but I just want to highlight this here because it's really, really important. Okay. And this is on page 63. And the section of the book is Retrain Your Mind for Success. Mindset block, fear. Yes, the mind protects us from danger, but we can and do consciously create the stories that determine what danger actually is. For example, if I jump off a cliff, I could die, right? Makes sense, right? We jump off a cliff, you die. That's fear. And to me, that's real fear. That's fear of I may not make it. I may die, right? That's like extreme. Okay. Now let's move a little bit further here. And I wrote here, that's real danger. But if I try to launch a business, it might not work as planned. If I grow an email list, maybe no one on it will buy from me. Those things aren't dangerous at all. In fact, they are great opportunities to get information. The next time you feel fear creeping in, ask yourself, turn the page here because I'm literally reading this. What's the worst that could happen? If I try this thing and it doesn't work, I'm probably not going to die. That's good. So what's the real risk? And then I go into my construction job story. Okay. And I'll share that with you right now. I had fear when I was working for my father's construction company, and I go into great detail in the book, but basically the Cliff Notes version is this. I was working for my father's company, thought I was going to own it. About 8 years in, realized it was not going to happen. There was some turmoil going on within the company with my father and his partner, and my wife and I started a photography business on the side, and we saw the writing on the wall. So we decided we wanted to take the leap of faith and just go out on our own. Now, we didn't have hardly any money in savings, but we did have some bookings for our photography session that we knew that were going to probably carry us for maybe 2 months. That's it. So the fear was I basically cut off the lifeline, right? I had steady income coming in. I had to work every day, but I still had steady income coming in. I cut it off and I'm on my own. And I was doubting myself. My wife was trying to convince me that it was going to be okay. And then I was coming up with all of these holes of why it wasn't going to work. But then I said, you know what? Here's what I need to do in order for me to feel good about doing this and to make myself feel less fearful. So here's what you can also do. I created myself a safety net. And that safety net was this. What was I doing before that if this doesn't work, could I fall back on? And that safety net for me was construction. So I always knew that if I wanted to, I could go run a few ads in the paper and get some side work, right? I could go start putting on decks on people's homes. I could go remodel kitchens. I could remodel basements. I could do all that stuff because I've done it before. Right. So I had this skill set. That's why we always talk about skill sets. And so what I did to move through that was I was like, okay, I'm going to do this, but if it doesn't work, I can always go back to this. So there's no, like, I'm going to jump off a cliff and I might die. That wasn't there. Right. What was there was I am going to do this thing. And if it doesn't work, I could always fall back on this. That was my safety net. Okay. So that's one example. Now, I never had to, by the way, swing a hammer for money since I left my father's company, right? I was able to go out there, start a business with my wife in photography. We were able to build that to a pretty good size business for her and I, small business, just her and I running it, but it was a six-figure business. And then from there, we went out on our own and started our digital photography side of the business, and the rest is history, right? So it worked out good, but I was afraid. What if I never faced that fear? I never would have achieved that, right? So the way that you get around fear is you push through it. And how do you push through it? And you might have to create yourself if this happens, what's the worst that's going to happen? So let's talk about my second story, the podcast. I started a podcast almost 6 years ago. I think now it's crazy that it's been that long, over 17 million downloads, thousands of listeners all over the world, right? I've built a seven-figure business on the back end of that, right? And launched e-commerce businesses on the backside of that. And so all of this stuff has happened, but I almost never hit record on that podcast because I was fearful that no one would listen and no one would care, right? So at that time, my wife had said, Scott, you're very good with teaching people. You're very good at what you do. Why not just give it a go? And I'm like, yeah, but what if no one listens? And she's like, so what? What are you going to lose? Some time. And I'm like, you're right. So there was no I was risking a job, but I was risking time. I was risking energy. So I committed, and there's another big takeaway. I committed to doing it for 25 episodes. 25 episodes. Okay. So that's the thing. A lot of times people are, I'm going to waste all this time. Give yourself a time that you're going to commit fully and then evaluate after the fact. I evaluated after 25 episodes. I had an audience. I had people listening. Didn't make any money at that point, though, by the way, but I knew that there was growth there. Okay. So again, fear was no one's going to listen. It's not going to ever turn into anything. I'm going to waste my time. Push through it. Here we are. Okay. So a lot of times, even if you do something and it doesn't work, you're going to learn from that, or you're going to pivot from that. So what I want you to do is, if there's something that's holding you back up here mentally right now, this Monday or whatever day you're listening to this, I want you to write it down. What is that thing? And what is the worst that's going to happen if it doesn't turn out as planned? So what is the thing? And what is the worst that's going to happen? And if it's something that you're like, oh my gosh, this, it could be bad. You could lose $10,000. Okay, that is bad. If that's the case, then we have to go and say, okay, what's the safety net? What if I did lose that money? Would I be able to replace it? Or where would I get the money? Now, again, then that comes into, well, you're not going to risk your home and all of that stuff. That would be silly. We wouldn't want to do that. So you have to use some common sense there too. Okay. The third story I want to share with you is this one. And this is more recent. So my daughter, Kayla, who's 13, she's now really, really into beach volleyball. We literally just got back from another tournament. We've been doing tournaments almost every weekend. This last one was in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Beautiful place, by the way, over by UNC College. Beautiful, beautiful place. We had a great time. And she ended up playing up in the 16U. She's 13 years old. Her partner was 15, and they ended up coming in third out of, I believe there was 8 or 10 teams. But very, very good talent here. Okay. And here's the big takeaway though. She almost never did beach volleyball. Why? Because she was afraid. She was afraid of going out there in the sand with older girls. Because at the time, and girls she didn't know, right? There's girls there that are her age, but there's also older girls mixed into this program. And she was afraid, I'm going to look silly. People are going to think I'm a little baby. They're whatever the things are that kids think of why they don't want to go there with older kids. So we kind of made her go, and we said, you're going to go to 1 or 2 practices and then you can decide. So we kind of pushed her in a little bit, right? There's nothing bad that's going to happen. We know that there's nothing bad's going to happen there. We know the environment. And she came back excited. And now, about 6 months later, she is hardcore beach volleyball. She's considering not even doing indoor. So she's just like, I just want to go full-time beach. I love it. I want to get better. We're practicing 3-4 times a week. We're doing tournaments on the weekend. Never would have experienced this if She said, I'm just not going to do it because I'm afraid I'm going to go there and look silly, or I'm going to go there and people aren't going to like me, or I'm going to go there and I'm not going to like the way the sand feels on my feet. Like whatever the excuse is, we pushed a little bit. And that's why it's important to have people in your life that can give you a little nudge every now and then. And hopefully I can be that person maybe that kind of gets you, hey, listen, you're on the sideline, right? Imagine yourself on the sideline of a soccer field or a football field, right? And you're there and I'm like, hey, you want to play? And you're like, yeah, I really do. But I don't know. I mean, I might not be able to catch good, or I might not. I'll be like, you know what? I'll just nudge you in the line. There you are. You're in between the lines. Go. Right? You're not going to know until you get in there. So we got to get in the game. And we got to get past the fear. All right. So this has happened numerous times to me. And I could probably think about 10 more stories. All right. And every single time, nothing has for me anyway, nothing bad has happened. If anything, I've learned from it. It might not have turned out as planned, but I learned from it. I pivoted from it and I learned. Like that's the big thing. And I've created new skills, right? So whatever that fear block is right now, we need to push through that. And you need to ask yourself the question, what if I do this and it doesn't turn out as planned? What am I risking? Because fear is about risking something, right? For my daughter, it was like risking going there and looking foolish. For leaving my job, it was fearful of, I'm going to leave that. I'm not going to have any more income if this doesn't work out, right? But I created that safety net, all right? So these are some ways that you can push through. And I want you to do that. All right. I want you to do that. So that's going to wrap up this Monday mindset. All right. And I want you to think about that. Write down what is holding you back right now. And then from there, push yourself through that. Create a safety net if you have to, or ask yourself, what is the worst that's going to happen? What am I risking here? All right. Now get out there and make it happen. All right, that's a cut for the podcast. Let's go ahead and just jump in here real quick. Let's see. Okay. Helene says, fear tries to duke it out with me weekly. I think you're winning though, Helene. Salma, love this. Good morning. What's up? Karen, good morning, Scott and Rockers. It's Monday, the beginning of the new week. Go get them. I love it. Awesome, Kay. Today's tip is spot on. Needed to hear this. Thanks, Scott. No problem. Get out there and get it, Kay. I know you can. Use faith to propel you through any fear. Cool. And Karen, the other Karen, there's two Karens here. You definitely push me. I hear your voice in my head often. I'm so grateful to have you as a mentor. And I'm so grateful that I'm able to be here and to be able to be of some kind of support, Karen. Like truthfully, like that, like for me to be able to know that I'm helping a person, not even people, but a person, like that means the world to me, right? So I appreciate that. Thank you so much. All right. So guys, that is going to wrap it up. Like I said, I am trying to keep these tight on Monday morning. So this way here we can get on with our day. I've got stuff to do. You've got stuff to do. Now that we got the mindset right, let's do it. Let's get out there. Let's have an amazing week and let's take some massive action and get some results. That's what it's all about. All right, guys. So I'll be back here Wednesday, and Wednesday, I already have that. Let me just give you guys that real quick. See if I can't find this off the top of my head here. Let's see. What is Monday's coffee talk? And I'll give you guys a heads up. Those of you that are still on with me. Coffee talk. Okay. Yes, this one's cool. New lead magnet test results. Cold traffic converting at 80%. Yes, you heard me right. I'm going to give you a real example. I'm going to show you the lead magnet. I'm going to show you everything that I can within 20 minutes. Okay. And then this is something also inside of Brand Creators Academy. I'm going to be going really deep and sharing a lot more of what's happening here and showing you what we're doing. But I'm going to show you this just at a glance here so you can see exactly by testing something. You never know. You got to test. So new lead magnet test results, cold traffic converting at 80%, which is just awesome. And that's through, like I said, cold traffic. So that's what we're going to be talking about on Wednesday, what I'm going to be sharing with you. And that's it, guys. Have an awesome, amazing day. Take care, take action, and I'll see you soon. Bye, guys.